Have you ever stopped to wonder what happens to a plastic bottle after you throw it away? It all starts so innocently. Cold, refreshing water in a shiny plastic bottle. You're thirsty. You buy it. You drink it. Then, without a second thought, you toss it in a bin, or worse, on the street. And that's where the Real story begins. This is not just the story of a bottle. This is the journey of pollution, of neglect, and of consequences we don't often see. Today, we'll follow one plastic bottle as it travels from a store shelf to the darkest corners of our planet, across highways, through drains, down rivers, and finally into the ocean. Along the way, this bottle will harm animals, contaminate water, and maybe even come back to you in your food or drink. This is the hidden life of plastic, and it's time we see the truth. Our story begins in a factory. Molten plastic, made from crude oil, is poured into molds, cooled, and shaped into perfect, identical bottles. They're lightweight, cheap, and shiny, ready to be filled with water, juice, soda, or anything else. But before this bottle even reaches your hand, it's already traveled thousands of miles. From oil extraction to plastic production, then to bottling plants, and finally to the store shelf. This journey has already used large amounts of fossil fuels and released carbon emissions into the atmosphere. When you buy it, it feels convenient, clean, disposable, but in reality, this bottle is nearly immortal. It won't break down for 400 to 1,000 years. And that's just the beginning. You drink the water, you toss the bottle. Maybe it lands in a recycling bin, maybe it doesn't. Let's be honest, most plastic bottles don't get recycled. In fact, globally, less than 10% of plastic is truly recycled. The rest? It ends up in landfills, rivers, oceans, or burned in open air. If your bottle is unlucky, and most are, it's picked up by the wind, rolls down a street, and finds a nearby stream. That stream flows into a river, and the river carries it to the ocean. Now your bottle is no longer part of your world. But it hasn't disappeared. It's floating in the open sea, drifting for years. Sunlight breaks it down into smaller pieces, called microplastics, but it never really goes away. It just becomes invisible to your eyes, but deadly to the ocean. Your bottle is no longer whole. It's broken down, bit by bit, by the ocean's waves, heat, and sunlight. Now, it's become microplastic. Tiny pieces, smaller than a grain of rice. Too small to clean up, too many to count. These microplastics float freely through our oceans. Fish mistake them for food. Birds eat the fish. Whales gulp them down. Sea turtles feed on jellyfish, but they accidentally eat plastic bags instead. It gets worse. These plastic particles don't stay in the ocean. They end up in your salt, your drinking water, even your air. Microplastics have been found in rainfall, in mountain snow, and even in human blood. Yes, human blood. This means plastic is no longer just an environmental problem. It's a human problem. It's inside you. You don't have to eat plastic to consume it. It's already in the things you use every day. When you drink from plastic bottles, when you eat food wrapped in plastic, when you microwave plastic containers, you're releasing tiny particles, and those particles enter your body. Studies found microplastics in bottled water. Even tap water isn't safe in many cities. Seafood carries plastic in its flesh. Salt contains plastic dust. Even vegetables absorb plastic from polluted soil. Every week, you may be eating a credit card's worth of plastic. That's about 5 grams. Every single week. These plastics don't just pass through. Some get stuck. In your lungs, in your liver, even in your brain. And scientists still don't fully understand the long-term effects. But early signs show damage. Cell inflammation, hormone disruption, immune system stress. You might not see it. You might not taste it. But it's there, silently invading your health. Microplastics aren't just tiny, they're toxic. These particles carry deadly chemicals on their surface. Pesticides, heavy metals, industrial toxins. When they enter your body, they act like Trojan horses for poison. Your bloodstream carries them everywhere. To your liver, your kidneys, your brain. They confuse your immune system. Your body tries to fight them, but it can't. Because they're not bacteria. They're plastic. Plastic can block cells from working properly. It can change how your hormones behave. It can stress your heart, and even damage your DNA. For pregnant women, microplastics may reach the placenta, affecting unborn babies before they even take their first breath. And yet, you still drink from plastic bottles. You still eat takeout wrapped in plastic. Because we were never warned. But now you know. Imagine tiny plastics traveling into your brain. Sounds impossible, right? But it's happening. Scientists have found microplastics in brain tissue. Even in lab animals, within just 2 hours of exposure. Your brain is protected by the blood-brain barrier. It's like a security gate for your mind. But microplastics can slip through. Especially the smallest ones, nanoplastics. Once inside, they don't just sit there. They interfere with brain function, trigger inflammation, disrupt neuron signals. That means memory problems, concentration issues, and maybe even early dementia. Some studies suggest links to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. We're still learning more, but the early signs are terrifying. If microplastics are attacking your brain, what's left to protect? And this isn't science fiction. It's your reality, right now. Children are more vulnerable than adults. Their bodies are still growing. Their organs are still developing. That includes their brain, lungs, and immune system. Now imagine tiny plastics entering those growing systems. That's what's happening today. Microplastics are found in baby food, in plastic baby bottles, even in the air of nurseries. One study showed infants have 10 times more microplastics than adults. Why? They crawl on floors, put everything in their mouths, breathe closer to the ground where dust settles. And those plastics? They don't just pass through. They accumulate. They may affect hormones, slow development, and possibly impact IQ over time. A child's future shouldn't be full of plastic. But that's what we're allowing, if we don't act now. The next generation deserves clean water, clean food, and a clean start. Think you can avoid microplastics by eating healthy? Think again. Even the cleanest diets are no longer safe. Microplastics have been found in fruits and vegetables. Yes, even apples, carrots, and lettuce. How do they get there? Through contaminated soil and irrigation water. Plants absorb these particles through their roots. Fish and shellfish are also loaded with plastic. They mistake microplastics for food in the ocean. And when we eat them, those plastics come with it. Even salt, harvested from oceans, is contaminated. Table salt now carries traces of microplastic. That's right, plastic in your morning eggs and toast. It's in rice, bread, and even honey. Because bees collect nectar from polluted flowers. Nothing seems untouched. We're consuming tiny plastic bits every single day. Without knowing. Without choosing. But now that you know, what will you do differently? What if plastic isn't just harming nature, but also changing how your brain works? Recent studies show shocking findings. Microplastics may cross the blood-brain barrier. That's the body's shield protecting your brain. These tiny particles can sneak through. And once inside, they can cause inflammation. That's dangerous. It affects memory and focus. Scientists have linked microplastics to neurotoxicity. That means they may damage brain cells. Even your mood and decision-making could suffer. In mice, exposure to microplastics caused anxiety. It altered their behavior and learning ability. And that's just the beginning. We're still learning what it does to humans. But signs are deeply concerning, especially for children with growing brains. You might think this sounds far-fetched, but research keeps confirming the risk, and the evidence is growing fast. Think about it. Every plastic bite might be reshaping your mind. Is it worth the convenience? The problem is massive, but not hopeless. You have more power than you think. Change begins with small, consistent actions. First, reduce your plastic usage daily. Say no to plastic bags and bottles. Choose glass, metal, or reusable alternatives. Avoid products with microbads or glitter. They go straight into our water supply. Read labels. Be mindful of your choices. Support companies that fight plastic waste. Buy from brands using sustainable packaging. Your money shapes market trends every day. Filter your tap water at home. Some filters reduce microplastic contamination. Protect your body from invisible threats. Never microwave food in plastic containers. Heat releases harmful plastic chemicals inside. Use ceramic or glass instead. Much safer. Eat less processed food and fast food. It often contains more plastic particles. Home-cooked meals are cleaner and healthier. Join cleanup drives in your area. Even one bag of trash helps nature. Inspire others by sharing your actions online. Push for change at the policy level. Vote for leaders who support green laws. Sign petitions. Raise your voice with purpose. Talk to family and friends about this. Awareness spreads faster when it's personal. Make plastic pollution part of your conversations. Change starts with you. Yes, you. You're not powerless in this crisis. You're a piece of the solution puzzle. The war against plastic won't be easy, but every step you take truly matters. The choices you make today echo tomorrow. Your voice, your habits, your awareness, everything counts. Don't wait for others to lead change. Be the reason your world breathes cleaner. Act now. Speak up. Live consciously. Together, we can fight this silent enemy. Plastic pollution began with humans, and only humans can end it. If this opened your eyes today, help others open theirs too. Share this video with someone who needs it. And if you care about our future, smash that subscribe button right now. Because this channel is your voice for truth. See you in the next one. Until then, stay awake, stay strong, and stay aware.